Underdog Fantasy is the place to play if you're a fan looking to cash in on some of your favorite athletes' performances. Available in over 30 states, including New York, California, and Texas. Just call your shot on higher or lower on 2 or more player stats for your chance to win real money. Use our promo code KFTV for up to $1,000 in bonus cash plus a free pick. So download the Underdog Fantasy app today and turn every bucket into a W. It can never be an easy night for this team, man. Seldomly do you get the bum nights. And, you know, I made all my picks. You talk about DraftKings, talk about Underdog. I made my picks with that in mind because I felt like the Knicks were going to have a tall order ahead of them. This was not going to be a bum night. Because they come into Washington, no Jordan Poole, no Kyle Kuzma. The two biggest Wizard Chucks were missing from this game. But that's how these things become trap games. Because you have these teams that have no choice but to spread the ball around, get some good ball movement and good player movement to generate any type of good offense. And so I thought the Knicks, look, human nature kicked in. They had to fight a physical one in Orlando. They came in here into Washington thinking they were just going to coast their way into one, and the Wizards put it on them, including 33 points in the first and 38 in the third quarter. Wizards ended up shooting 50% from the field, 40 from three. But shout out to Brunson, man, because through all of that, 55, 9 on 18 of 31 shooting, made his free throws, which to me was the biggest win, 16 of 17 from the charity stripe. Got all the calls tonight and took care of business from the stripe. Only went 3 of 11 from downtown. So he was cooking inside the paint. He was giving Koulibaly that work. He was giving Bud Carrington that work. They had Alex Sarr switched on to him. It really didn't matter. He got into his bag, footwork unleashed, the pump fakes, everything. Wizards were going for everything. And so, thankfully, he was able to get that done. And how about this? He scored no points in the second quarter. 42 points in the second half. Third, fourth, and overtime. Insane, insane bucket getter. But that's our guy. That's Captain Clutch. That's why you need stars. So shout out to him. He gets another 50 burger under his belt and saves his team from an embarrassing loss. That would have been bad. That would have been the worst loss of the season. No question about it. So shout out to Brunson for a 50 burger. And even though the Knicks defense was non-existent, and thankfully for his 55, because on the other end, they was cooking him. They were filleting him. They was going at him and Karl-Anthony Towns. They was exposing the drop coverage, picking them apart the entire game. But I thought what was key was, number one, when Brunson was on the bench in the fourth quarter, you had Towns come alive with 10 points in that fourth. And then I also thought Towns' defense in the fourth and in overtime was clutch. He had a couple of blocks. He finished with 2 blocks in the game. He had a couple of stops. Got some timely rebounds, and that helped. I also thought Josh Hart got a lot of timely rebounds in the fourth quarter and in the overtime as well. Josh Hart finished with 11 rebounds. So these guys, man, they had to come through and get some stops here. Because the Wizards were just running it up. It's one of the worst three-point shooting teams in the league. They shot 44% from downtown on the Knicks tonight. Shout out Starberry on the IG, said the bodega is feeling the energy in NYC. Steph, if you're home, man, you want to cam up, call my phone. Call my phone. I'll send you the Zoom link. You know you had texted me the last time I couldn't get the text. So, Steph, if you're home, man, I'll send you the Zoom link. And we can cam up and get in on the post-game. Stephon Marbury on the Instagram side, tap it in. So to everybody on the gram. So yeah, you had clutch performances by Brunson, and in particular Hart and Towns to really save it. So Knicks get number 7 in a row, 22-10 on the campaign. You take the W, and I think on Monday, you know, I hate to try to predict things. I expect this team to put their foot on their necks early and not even play with their food. I thought tonight was just one of those human nature games. It was a letdown game in terms of defense, their defensive intensity. They weren't sticking with him on the pick and rolls, providing little to no resistance on the backside of the defense, and the rim protection was a little bit suspect tonight. So the Wizards were able to have their way. You had Justin Champagnie with a career-high 31 points. Brogdon, 22. He had all 5 Wizards starters in double figures. I like this kid, Buck Carrington, too. I do like him. And Koulibaly has been playing a lot better in his second year with the Wizards. So they have some young scrappers. Kispert always gives the Knicks a little bit of work. Kispert had 11 off the bench. So yeah, you had 7 Wizards in double figures. This team is 5-24. So it's just one of those nights, man. But you take the W, you get some rest tomorrow, and then Monday you come out and you beat the brakes off of them. Can't let it be that close. They did look tired. Anakin Flo in the chat, they did. You know, they did look like they were trying to pace themselves in this game. Sam I Am 2024 says, congratulations on your picks tonight. Yeah, I did. I'll get to my underdog picks a little bit later. But yeah, I've been hot tonight. I definitely been hot with the underdog stuff, so I'll get to that. Shane Mack, they played lazy. Yeah, I agree with that. But in the end, they got the job done. $10 super chat from Fox Venkman. Shout out to Fox Venkman. Is it Venkman? Is that from Ghostbusters? Franchise channel member, $10 super chat says almost bought a Hubert Davis jersey in '94. Shout out to him. Shout out to Hubert Davis, man. UNC coach. Yeah, man. Shout out to him. Okay, Steph said he's going to hit me. Steph said he's going to tap in. So we're going to hear from Stephon Marbury. Stephon Marbury's coming on the post-game show tonight. So I'll be solo dolo for a little bit, and then Steph is going to come in and rock out with us. 136, 132. Who knew this thing would turn into an overtime thriller? But one of the things I thought whether this got in trouble was the Wizards, for a good chunk of this game, were winning the rebounding battle. Knicks could not keep them off the boards. And so Wizards got some second chance opportunities, wide open threes. The three-pointers were a story of this game as well. Knicks go 10 of 40 from downtown. Wizards go 17 of 38. So they get outscored 51 to 30 from downtown. And this is a team who's not a good three-point shooting team. So, you know, in the NBA, it happens like that, man. Sometimes you get a team's best shot, and you got to respond. And for the Knicks responding, they responded with their stars. Towns, you know, Brunson, he was building up on that 50-piece the entire night. They had no answer for him. And I was very surprised that this Wizards coach, just like last night with Jamal Mosley, you got a guy like Brunson in his bag, super comfortable, getting to his spots, no deterrence whatsoever, and you don't put 2 on the ball whatsoever. And that was surprising, man. And yesterday last night in the Magic game, Magic sent the double late. That was like 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. By that time, the game was already out of reach. In this one, I didn't remember any defensive play where the Wizards try to trap Jalen to get the ball out of his hands. So I thought that was interesting. An interesting defensive strategy or lack thereof.
CP, man, I've been waiting a minute to get on the phone with you.
Hey, man, it's a busy show, man. Appreciate it.
I'm out in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and
okay.
It's funny, man. Every time I go out to the bar, they have no idea what a New York fan looks like, and they always say that we're mad different because of how passionate we are.
Yeah. So we're the best. No one like us. Man.
It's cool to get that respect. You know what I mean?
For sure, we deserve it.
But I also think I'm the worst fan to ever watch the game with, because games like this, like I lose my stuff when you watch the team for 82 games, mm-hmm. Like you see when they're off and you see when things aren't working. And mm-hmm. I'm a Knicks fan. I'm not like an NBA fan, so I just watch the Knicks. So
okay.
It's not the best thing for me. So sometimes when I'm seeing them do things, I'm like, why aren't you doing this the way? But anyway,
yeah.
First thing I want to say is Josh Hart. We need to get him into the All-Star game.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
sure,
he's the real deal. He's my new number favorite 3. John Starks was my favorite. growing up. But now Josh Hart, he's the real deal, man. He does all the little things that pick up the pieces that allow us to get in rhythm. And that's some of the things that I look for on this team, where some of the players can't pick up the pieces, where sometimes Cat, I feel like, throws us off rhythm sometimes when it's a lack of a hustle play. But he had a great offensive game today. It's the defensive things that concern me, and the discipline, like you just said. But I remember the days with Alonzo Trier. Yeah. And I remember playing teams to where we had these battles where we were the Wizards, but you'd play these good teams, and it didn't matter how much we grinded, how much we did, we always found a way to win. And it's so nice to be on the flip side of that, to where it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, this is where the leaders of the leaders step up and they do their things. Like, the superstars step up, and tonight the Knicks did that when everyone else seemed to take a day off. And it seemed like Brunson and Cat late in the game did what they had to do to pick up the pieces to put the points on the board. Yeah. And it's just nice to see that clutch gene is definitely in our culture. And I know one of the callers said that Tibbs, like, I think his rotations are good. I disagree with that. I don't know if I was all on board with how Tibbs managed his game, just because late in the game, why are we chucking up threes? I think there was like 2 minutes left in the game. Yeah. And I'm yelling at my TV, and we're just shooting threes when every time we drive to the paint, Brunson's getting a bucket plus one.
78 points in the paint. And I didn't like it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. He took 2 threes that I was like, we don't need that, especially when you're getting whatever you wanted in the paint. They were down by 3, and they were trying to tie it up in one shot. I was like, we could break this down in 2 possessions and really get to it. Yeah. We were flirting with this 2-point game, and I felt like we could have been up by 6 and probably closed it before overtime. And so I don't know. I mean, in your opinion, is that on Tibbs, or is that just, is it the player's game at this point? It's the players, man. They're going to have the freedom to make that call. And with Brunson, you're going to have to live and die with it. He dropped 55 tonight. So, you got to trust him. That's Captain Clutch for a reason. And even though those 2 didn't fall, he got the job done, and the rest did. And especially at the free throw line, he got it done for us. So, you got to live with it. Yeah. And I want to ask you this. It's the last, and I'll get out of your hair, man. But thank you so much for your time and everything you do. Every time I watch a Knicks game, it's a 4-hour affair now, because I have to watch you after the game. So, but I appreciate it so much. Like, no problem. Being out here in Grand Rapids. So, just respect to you. How do you feel about Cat? I feel like the honeymoon's almost over a little bit when I watch him play. It seems like demeanor-wise, it just seems like he's kind of getting into mid-season flow a little bit, or blues, or I don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem the same electricity, or it just takes him a minute to get going. Yeah. Do you agree with that, or are you comfortable with where Cat's at? Yeah, I love where he's at right now. I love where he's at. It could be a little bit of a rough patch. You have to go up against Wemby, and then the next game you got Orlando Magic trying to play football, and he's getting into foul trouble. So it just could be one of those stretches where he's just getting beat up a little bit. Things aren't really going his way. But I love where he's at, and I love his demeanor. And when Brunson's was on the bench tonight, case in point, he took over. So he knows when to switch it on and when to get others involved. So I love his patience, and I love his overall game plan. I thought he was good. Right on. All right. Yeah, well, man. Thank you for your time, man. Happy holidays. No problem, man.